Hello and welcome to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and with me today is Julia. Hey, Julia.
Hi, Jason. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited for today's topic because I know many of our listeners want to improve their English speaking skills.
Yes. And today, we are going to talk about something that can really make a difference in the way you speak English. Speaking clearly and confidently.
Exactly. Speaking clearly helps people understand you easily, and speaking confidently makes you sound natural and fluent. These two skills go hand in hand.
That's right. In this episode, we'll discuss why clarity and confidence matter, common challenges English learners face, and practical tips to improve both.
Plus, we'll share some simple exercises that can help you speak more clearly and feel more confident in your English conversations.
So, if you've ever felt nervous speaking English or struggled with pronunciation, stay with us. This episode is for you.
And by the end of this podcast, you'll have actionable steps to improve your speaking skills.
All right, let's get started. So, Julia, let's start with the big question. Why is it so important to speak English clearly and confidently?
Great question, Jason. When you speak clearly, people understand you without confusion or frustration. If your words are unclear, even if your grammar is perfect, communication becomes difficult.
That's a really good point. I've seen many learners focus only on grammar, but if their pronunciation isn't clear, they still struggle to communicate.
Exactly. And confidence plays a huge role too. If you sound hesitant, nervous, or unsure, people might think you don't know English well, even if you do.
Right. Speaking confidently makes a big difference in how people perceive you. Think about it. When someone speaks with confidence, even if they make small mistakes, we still trust what they're saying.
Yes. And that's why both clarity and confidence are key. If you speak clearly, people understand you. If you speak confidently, people listen to you.
That's so true. And when you speak with confidence, it actually makes you feel more confident too.
Absolutely. It's like a positive cycle. The more confident you sound, the more people respond well to you, and the more confident you become.
I love that. But I know many English learners struggle with these things. Let's talk about some common challenges they face when trying to speak clearly and confidently.
Great idea. Let's dive into that next.
Now that we understand why speaking clearly and confidently is so important, let's talk about some of the common challenges English learners face when trying to improve their speaking skills.
Yes. A lot of learners struggle with pronunciation, mumbling, speaking too fast, and lack of confidence.
That's true. Let's break these down one by one. First, pronunciation. Many English learners find it hard to pronounce certain sounds correctly. Why does that happen?
Well, it's usually because those sounds don't exist in their native language. For example, many learners have trouble with sounds like th in think or r, and l in words like right and light.
That makes sense. And if they don't practice, they might keep pronouncing those words incorrectly, which makes their speech unclear.
Exactly. And then there's mumbling. Some learners speak too softly or don't open their mouths enough, which makes their words unclear.
Oh yes. I've heard many learners swallow their words or speak in a way that's hard to understand.
Right. And sometimes learners speak too fast because they're nervous or trying to sound fluent. But speaking too fast can actually make them less clear.
That's a great point. I always tell learners that slowing down actually makes them sound more natural and confident.
Exactly. And of course, the biggest challenge is lack of confidence. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes, so they hesitate, avoid speaking, or speak in a very low voice.
I totally get that. The fear of being judged or making mistakes can really hold people back.
Yes, but mistakes are a natural part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes.
That's true. So, now that we know these challenges, the big question is, how can learners improve their pronunciation and speak more clearly?
Great question. Let's talk about some practical techniques to improve clarity in speaking.
Now that we know the common challenges, let's talk about how to improve pronunciation and speak more clearly. Julia, what's the first thing English learners should focus on?
The first and most important thing is listening carefully. If you want to pronounce words correctly, you need to hear how native speakers say them.
That's a great point. So, listening to podcasts, audiobooks, movies, and conversations can really help learners recognize correct pronunciation.
Exactly. And not just listening, mimicking what native speakers say is a powerful exercise. It's called shadowing.
Oh yes, shadowing means listening to a sentence and immediately repeating it, trying to copy the pronunciation and rhythm.
Right. This helps with pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. Learners can start with short phrases and slowly work their way up to full sentences.
That's an amazing tip. What about difficult sounds like th in think or r and l in right and light?
Great question. To improve tricky sounds, learners need targeted pronunciation practice. They can do this by watching YouTube videos on pronunciation, using online dictionaries that have audio for words, practicing with tongue twisters like "She sells seashells by the seashore."
Oh, tongue twisters are so much fun. They help train the mouth to pronounce sounds correctly.
Exactly. And another tip is speaking slowly and clearly. Many learners think speaking fast makes them sound fluent, but actually it can make them less clear.
That's so true. Slowing down gives your mouth time to form words properly. It also gives your listener time to understand you.